الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونشكره ونستعين به ونسترشده ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وقائدنا ومرشدنا وحجتنا وشفيعنا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله وطاعته، وأحثكم على التمسك بهدي قرآنه وسنة نبيه، فقد قال الله جل من قائل: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. صدق الله العظيم. My dear sisters and brothers, I want to start by asking us a question. Sometimes I do, and we need to be sincere with ourselves so that we can achieve the proper outcome of the message of the khutbah. And the question is, when you are presented with a situation where you have to make a choice, you've got to make a choice between following the teachings of our deen or following the popular custom that is familiar to people around you, what will you do? Let me take the question to another height. Let me ask it in such a way that when the choice of following deen will present you with some challenges, whether you have to help a child of yours, whether you are in a position of authority and you've got to choose between what our deen tells us or the custom that everybody is doing. What will you do? This is the topic of today's khutbah. And the reason, to start with is that I've got many situations. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's presented with those situations. All of us face them on a daily basis. Take, for example, without getting the idea that the khutbah is going to be about this example. I don't have time in the khutbah to go into the details of the example I'm going to start with. Take the example of Halloween. Come Sunday night, we know that kids will be taken by the hand. Their parents will walk with them, and they will have certain features. They will have certain costumes. They will be trick-or-treating. Now, we know that kids put pressure on their parents because Halloween is reduced into sugar and candy. And who doesn't crave for sugar among children, even among older people? And the kids, we know, put pressure on their parents. And we know that many parents already caved in under the pressure of their children. Many of them were forced to do that. Many of them basically don't see anything wrong in going and having a little bit of fun with their children and collecting some candy, and that's the end of it. Now, without analyzing the origins and how it started and how it is a demonic practice, we cannot ignore the beginning of something when the outcome became what it becomes. We've got to always stand, steadfast and make the proper choice for our children, because any practice is custom developing. Because kids grow, if they are doing something, then it will be transmitted more diluted to their children, and then more diluted to their grandchildren, and so on and so forth, until what was wrong becomes the norm. Nothing wrong with it. Now take another example. And I was surprised that lately I've been asked the question, what's wrong and this is how the feature looks. People as if they are inviting a certain response. What's wrong in having a dog at home? Dogs are so cute. Why can't we have a dog at home? And I know for a fact that many Muslims have dogs at home. Our deen tells us that a house wherein there is a dog, malaika, angels, do not enter that house. And quite often we wonder why there's fighting in this household, why we are always sad, why we are not getting the barakah that we expect. And we are praying, we are fasting, and we do not even think of the breakers. You know, every current at home or at a factory, there is something called a breaker. Because if there is an oversurge, then the breaker takes over so that there won't be a fire or there won't be. Now, there are breakers that we do not recognize, and we don't like to attach them to our circuits. We ignore them. We just think a switch, a bulb, a capacitor, and that's it. But when it comes to the breakers that safeguard our security, we don't think much of it. Take that dangerous habit that's slowly but surely becoming a habit. So dangerous, but with time, rest assured, it will become the norm. Because customs and habits form gradually, and with time, we don't think much of them or their danger, and we start doing them without thinking. And I mean communication via the phone. You know, now our deen tells us that we need to talk with each other. Even Prophet Muhammad ﷺ tells us, "Ibtisamatuka fi wajhi akhika sadaqa." Even a smile, you know, that you face your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, you know, your son, your daughter, you know, that smile is a form of charity. Now we don't even smile. And there was a study 2 weeks ago that found children, because of the 2 years they spent being educated online, when they were taken into physical setting to be educated normally at school, they are having difficulties because they lost the skill. Hopefully they didn't lose it, but it diminished in their ability. They don't have the skill to communicate with each other anymore because of custom building. Now, our deen is very clear. Our deen came to us with a full slate of everything we need to do. And sometimes we are presented, well, things around us go in a certain way. Our deen is telling us to make a different choice, which would require some azm, some effort, some determination to take that which may be more difficult. Are we going to do it, or are we going to give in to the popular custom? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that this will happen. It presented us with the scenario. You know, in Surah Al-Baqarah we read, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمُ اتَّبِعُوا مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ قَالُوا بَلْ نَتَّبِعُ مَا أَلْفَيْنَا عَلَيْهِ آبَاءَنَا. And then the answer from the Quran comes, أَوَلَوْ كَانَ آبَاؤُهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ شَيْئًا وَلَا يَهْتَدُونَ. How could you argue like that? And the argument in English translated says that whenever people are told, as the Quran is being revealed, follow that which is being revealed to you, their response would be, no, we'd rather follow which we took from our parents, which we found our parents do. And then the Quran tells them, are you going to follow them even though your parents don't have the breaking edge of intellectual reasoning, or they are not properly guided? Are you going to follow them even with that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that we should use our ability to make the right choices, and our deen is the recipe. Wallahi, when you take it and you put some effort, and you may dislike, you know, the situation as you are applying deen into your life, but eventually you will feel the happiness, you will feel the satisfaction. And yes, you know, the children are going to say, why can't I have a bag full of candy like everyone else? Now, I never talks about haram before I give the halal alternative. And this is my advice to parents. that always present your children with the halal alternative. If the craving is for candy, now you have to start by telling children that candy cannot be just consumed uncontrollably because of reasons related to teeth and because of sugar hyper effect and so many other things. You've got to present that to your children nicely and then get them some candy which you can ration properly so that the children will feel that we're not going to miss that. Tell the children that there were incidents, and they have to know how many times did we hear about the blades being put in apples and hearing about the drugs being put in candy and there were fatalities. How could we ignore the night before Halloween that is called the Devil's Night? We know that there are many things, but give your children the alternative and let them enjoy that alternative. They will stop worrying about that which our deen told us is not right. However, if we ignore, our deen and we follow that which is popular custom, Ibn al-Qayyim told us something very qayyim. The word qayyim means valuable. Ibn al-Qayyim told us those who follow customs blindly, he says in Arabic, فَإِنَّهُ يَخْلُصُ إِلَيْهِمْ فَسَادٌ في بصائرهم وكدر في أفهامهم وظلمة في قلوبهم ومحق في عقولهم حتى يتربى عليها الصغير ويهرم عليها الكبير. That whenever people follow customs blindly, what they will get corruption in their pure natures. Our nature will be just basically covered with tarnish, and they will lose their ability to understand the wisdom behind something, and they will lose their ability to intellectually weigh things and choose that which is proper, and they will have darkness in their hearts until we find that children will grow with those customs and older people will find nothing wrong with them. And one generation gives it to the other, and then where it started and how bad it was will be forgotten. And this is very dangerous. This is very dangerous. Now, let us understand that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made it very clear for us in a hadith related by Muslim in his Sahih through the authority of Jarir ibn Abdullah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, man sanna fil islami sunnatan hasanatan falahu ajruha wa ajru man amila biha la yanqusu min ujurihim shay'un wa man sanna fil islami sunnatan sayyi'atan فعليه وزرها ووزر من عمل بها لا ينقص من أوزارهم شيئا. That's dangerous. Let me translate. Whosoever will, introduce something good, because Islam, by the way, is not against, introducing some good practice. There are some people who are so blind that they say, no, this is bid'ah. No, try first to understand what bid'ah is, which is an innovation. There is something called a good sunnah. This is in Sahih Muslim. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam at his time could not talk about a new technology being used properly to do da'wah. This is good. If you will spread da'wah through online means, that's beautiful. You can't just say, no. Many people I heard said you cannot use this microphone because it wasn't at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, we have to, you know, so whosoever starts a good practice in Islam, then he or she will get its reward, and part of the reward of everyone who followed that you started, and that will not diminish from their reward anything, but you will be collecting. You will be collecting. And whosoever will start something bad will get not only the bad mark in his record, her record, but only part of the bad record of everyone that followed it. So we have to be very careful, and we have to weigh in how could we choose and shape our lives. Is it our deen, even though it may be requiring some effort, or the popular custom and just, you know, do what everybody is doing? And I always remember what my father used to say in Arabic. You know, he said, حط راسك بين الروس وقول يا قطاع الروس. You know, that if everybody is going to face a certain destiny, just put your head among them and close your eyes and let whatever happens, happens. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will accept our dua. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. الحمد لله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. You know, I want to stress in the second khutbah that Islam, as I said in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is not against customs. You know, even as Islam came, there were many beautiful, good customs, even among the people of Jahiliyyah. They had some good customs. Islam came to reinforce it, not to abolish everything, but to establish and reinforce that which is good. That is why, you know, goodness was given a name in the Quran that is derived from custom, which is urf. You know, in Surah Al-A'raf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, tells us very clearly, وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Ya Muhammad, enjoin, you know, good customs, encourage people to follow them, and, you know, don't pay attention to ignorant people. Don't pay attention to ignorant people. So Islam, and كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. You know, what's معروف? معروف is good custom, good practices. Islam is calling goodness as good customs. It's not against it, and called that which is bad as munkar, not recognized to be good. So let us not think that Islam is against, you know, everything in the West. Some people just call the West as bad, but don't do that. Otherwise, why are you living here? Not everything in the West. I shouldn't even generalize by saying not everything is bad in the West. That's not fair. You know, if you look at where we came from, the majority of practices of people is horrible, or it became horrible when they abandoned deen. You know, look at the custom now in some Arab countries. Whenever there is a wedding, it cannot be a happy wedding without taking out their machine guns and starting to shoot in the air. And many stray bullets sometimes hit people and kill them. But they say, so what? It's a casualty. This is a terrible custom. But people do it because, our neighbor did it when his daughter got married. So I have to do it as well. There are many horrible customs. There are many customs that are cultural in nature, and now they are related to Islam because Muslims are doing them. We know they talk about, genital mutilation as being an Islamic practice. No, it is not. But there are some cultures among Muslims that encourage it. That doesn't make it Islamic. That's a bad custom. And we have to really make a choice. Our deen is the choice. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وخطايانا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم علمنا من ديننا ما جهلنا وذكرنا منه ما نسينا وكن معنا ولا تكن علينا. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على السلام حي على